All right. So we're doing this sort of a special little cutaway because I can't reveal this yet. So we're recording it for a future episode, right, guys?
Yes.
I got something.
Right, we are.
Remember the other day, Kyle, when you showed us this cool toy that you got in the mail?
Baby Yoda.
Baby Yoda, and it was awesome.
I remember.
I got a cool toy in the mail. I want to show you guys and see what you think. You guys haven't seen it yet.
All right. No, we haven't. This is live. You're going to capture our live and genuine reactions.
Yes, I'm also promoting this.
Definitely didn't talk about this before, and you didn't tell us to react in a certain way.
I have not, but I am telling you now. Please react as if it's awesome.
He actually did not tell us.
The good news is it is awesome. So let me show you this thing. So I've been working with the folks at Skeleton Crew. Are you guys familiar with them? They do the awesome pins and toys and stuff. And they are doing the first official Harrow County plush.
Oh, shit. That's awesome.
So
that's awesome.
This is the prototype of Priscilla the Goblin. I can't tell you when she's going to be released, when she's going on sale yet, because we don't know. That's why we're recording this in advance. But if you're watching this, she's on sale and available, and we'll put a link in the comments. But isn't she awesome, guys?
How many tears did you shed when you pulled that out of the box?
I got a little misty-eyed because she's awesome.
It's really awesome.
And she has a cool bendy tail.
Would it be possible to get a photo shoot of you in the same position with that next to you?
You think that would help sell it?
I think you'd sell a lot more, yeah.
All right, I might do that then. But yeah, so this is Priscilla. She's from Harrow County. If you're familiar with the book, which you should be, she's one of the great characters in it, and she's awesome. This is the prototype. I actually have to send this to Tyler Crook, which is why I had to send this in advance, because he has to take some pictures of her and stuff. But I thought I'd share it with you because she's sort of amazing.
Yeah, that's super awesome.
Yeah.
Good
And
job.
I got a little misty. So thank you guys. I just want to share that. And I don't know when this is airing, but hopefully everybody likes it. So Anton, we can cut that there, and then I'll count us down for the new episode.
We aren't cutting that dance though. There's no way in hell.
Which dance?
The one yeah, man.
Is there some intro music?
Oh.
No intro music?
We have something that gets added somewhere. I don't know.
Count us down, folks. Welcome to another edition of Missouri Swagger. I'm Dennis Hopeless.
I'm Cullen Bunn.
And I am Kyle Strahm.
Holy shit, we did it. We did it without talking over each other or bumble fucking anything.
I got a surprise for you guys.
Uh-oh.
I want you to check out this shirt I wore just for you. You know what that is?
Is it Jaws?
No.
Is it a salsa shark?
Close. Tiger sharks, baby. I wore a tiger shark shirt just for you. I bought this shirt for the sole purpose of wearing it on this episode.
Thank you.
I like it.
I've
And
never
also-
seen that before.
And also, it's kind of a design that no one's going to know is a cartoon that
It's true.
I can wear this whenever I want.
It looks like maybe it's a plumbing company shirt or something.
Hey, if I can get people to believe I'm a plumber.
Yeah, I got a Thundercats tattoo when I was 19, thinking the same thing. And and there was a resurgence of 80s nostalgia, and now there's a new Thundercats show, so that didn't work.
Yeah, I think it's a difference between Thundercats and Tiger Sharks.
What's the difference?
Remember the good one?
Quality?
No, look, I think Tiger Sharks was just fine as a show, but
What you look for in entertainment, just fine.
it didn't have the gravitas of a Thundercats.
True. We didn't have sort of omens is the problem.
Sure.
Tranya. Cullen, what's your favorite Star Trek, the original series episode? Go.
The original episode, the original series? What's the one where they talk about the creature that has thousands of arms, all moving as one, each controlled by a different malevolent intelligence?
I don't remember.
That one.
It's a good one. Dennis, you haven't even watched it, have you?
I've watched, like a handful of episodes. In 8th grade, I was in the Star Trek club. They had clubs we could be in for a while, where like instead of seminar or whatever, you got to go do things. But I was really disappointed when I found out it was the original series because I was a big Next Generation fan. And I remember finding it very slow and the special effects to be really bad, which is funny. If you go back and watch the Next Generation special effects that I was so impressed with in 8th grade, they don't hold up either.
They're okay.
I believe the episode, it just dawned on me.
Oh, did it? Did it just dawn on you?
That the episode I was referencing was Whom Gods Destroy.
That sounds like an episode you'd like.
Yep.
I think I like either the Corbinite maneuver or Arena, where Kirk and the Gorn both beam down to the planet.
Oh, now, as a
and
kid,
engage in mortal combat. What?
That Gorn was awesome when I was a kid. I had the Mego toy.
I'll come back around to that Mego toy, but when they brought Star Trek to Netflix, or when they released it on Blu-ray or something, they added a whole bunch of updated special effects, and they made the Gorn blink. So on the shots of him, where previously he just had big plastic eyes, now he's like,
that's what we were missing.
Isn't he less terrifying if he blinks?
No, he looks less like a man in plastic.
Oh, all right. So he's more terrifying blinking. Blinking makes you more terrifying.
Did you watch The Toys That Made Us?
No.
There's an episode about Star Trek and the Mego toys. And the guy who ran the company that made Mego toys was a real sleazebag who like went to jail for fraud and all this stuff. But I like that show, but the weird thing about it is all of the guys were just sleazy dudes who were like, how can I con kids out of their money? And it kind of was sad.
Well, the joke's on him. My parents bought all my toys at yard sales, so he didn't get any of that money.
Not from you. He had already gotten the money from whoever bought them originally.
Right. But I had several of the Mego Star Trek guys, and I had that awesome Enterprise bridge toy that had this
plastic.
It was made of like this real sort of vinyl-y plastic, but it had a transporter that you could put them in, and you'd flip the switch on top, and they fell out the back, and it looked like they disappeared.
I think we
talked about the back.
What's that?
It fell out the back.
Yeah, it was like a revolving door, and it shot him out the back.
I love it shot him out the back because my kids have a PJ Masks that when you push a button, it spins to show like the little kid in the pajamas, and then it spins around. But you have to have two action figures to make it work. But
yeah, that's a ripoff.
The 70s version of that just shoots it out the back. Fuck this.
Look at that. They're still trying to figure out how to part kids from their parents' money.
They're doing a good job still.
Colin, before you got on, Kyle and I figured out the best thing about my giant TV. And it's that I can make your head 4 feet tall.
That's about as impressed as I thought you'd be.
Just don't hump it, Dennis.
What?
I don't want to come on by accident a little early and you're just mounted up against your television.
Well, it's not three-dimensional, so I can't hug it. That's a shame.
I like it. I think it's.
I like it. I think it ties the whole room together for you.
It heats up the place a little, if you know what I'm saying.
Next time you're on a date, Dennis, I want you to turn the music up, light some candles, and then hold on, baby, and put that big picture of me right on the screen.
And she'll say, "Why did you put that up there?" And he'll say, "Cause tre-la-dee-da."
That's right.
Cause tre-la-dee-da. Have you ever explained Cuz tre-la-dee-da on the show?
I'm sure we have.
I don't think you have.
I did.
All right.
We can't look. I'm not a singer. I can't do the same bit over and over again. We got to do new stuff.
I mean, we do count us down. I apologize for how bad the show is every time. I think we do the same bit a lot.
Well, you do.
Did you guys resubscribe to Disney Plus to watch Hamilton?
I never unsubscribed.
Yeah, I never unsubscribed.
We have children, Kyle. We don't have a choice in that matter.
All right. I resubscribed, but I didn't watch Hamilton.
You watched. I know what you watched.
You know both the things I watched?
Oh, I know one of the things you watched.
What was it? What did I watch?
Blackbeard's Ghosts.
Yeah, I watched that shit last night. That was weird. And
Did
I
it
watched
Go ahead. What's the other thing you watched?
Bed Knobs and Broomsticks.
Oh, yeah. So what I was going to ask is, does Blackbeard's Ghost, because I watched it when I was a kid, so I don't really remember it. Does it have that awesome, there's something about those old Disney movies. There's a color scheme or something. There's a look to them that is so rich and cool. I'm assuming Blackbeard's Ghost had that.
Yeah, it's kind of like the color's a little off, so the oranges are really bright and the blues are really dark, and they have the credits are in that old Disney font.
Yeah.
You would know it just from seeing it. You'd be like, oh, this is a Disney movie.
Yeah. Yeah, I did not watch Hamilton. Cindy watched Hamilton, and she's been singing the songs ever since. So I feel as if I know all the songs of Hamilton.
I did see, haven't watched Hamilton, but the guy who plays King George, I saw that it made quite a stir because as he was singing with the camera up close on him, just spit would start shooting out of his mouth. And apparently they asked him about it, and he's like, oh yeah, I always spit a lot when I sing. I used to be self-conscious about it, but now I just let it go. But it's gross, man. You should, when you watch it, pay attention to King George.
Heaven forbid anyone zooms close on our mouths in this broadcast.
We should do a mouths close-up only episode.
I think that's be the grossest thing anyone's ever seen.
Why do you think your mouth's so gross?
I just don't think people want to see my mouth.
I have a beautiful mouth.
Yeah, of course, Dennis. What were we thinking? Everything's beautiful when you live in the dentist world.
My mouth's pretty cool.
Yours is all right.
Kyle's got that great beard. What you would see if you got too close to my mouth is that I have a mustache gap. It's really unfortunate. It keeps me from able to grow a full beard.
I like imagining Dennis as a hillbilly in Deliverance, and he's just like, I got a purty mouth, boys.
I got a mustache gap right here.
No, yeah, it's your mouth. So.
I shaved my head, guys.
Looks good. I like it.
Started growing back a little.
Yeah, it's good
This
work.
is the quality content
I got a haircut.
you all deserve.
I shaved mine as well, but I'm not taking my hat off. I'm not happy with it now.
Okay.
You're not happy with it?
Well, I shaved it, and then I let it grow, and it's kind of in that awkward stage.
I liked those long silver tufts you had going for a while.
And it was crazy.
It
It
was
was
like
crazy back then.
Reed Richards in a horrible accident.
Yep. It's like Reed Richards, just instead of being elastic all over, just his forehead stretches.
Did you guys see that the Tiki Cat is closing?
What?
Sad news, I know. They're closing for the time being. They couldn't reach an agreement with their landlord. For those who don't know, the Tiki Cat is a bar in Kansas City. Very cool tiki bar.
The tiki bar, in case you're
It is a tiki
picking up what he's
bar.
throwing down.
You guys have been there more than me. Cullen, tell us about it. Give us
It's
a
an
little.
amazing. It is an
impromptu-
amazing spot on this planet. This
Was.
dark, this dark, horrible world. There's a bright spot, and that's the Tiki Cat. There's an awesome hamburger place upstairs called Hop Cat, which is like beer. And one time I got a hamburger that was as big as my head, and that was awesome. But then you go downstairs to the Speakeasy, and it's Tiki Cat, and they have a creature from the Black Lagoon hanging from the ceiling, and they have all this. They have a slee stack, a black light slee stack portrait.
Apparently, there's a duck they hide every night.
I found them.
Where did you find the duck?
They move him. When you find him, you're supposed to move him.
I know, but where did you find it?
So it's weird. There's actually more than one. There's 3 or 4, I think. And I found at least 3 of them. It's weird. The last time Cindy and I went, because Cindy, the only reason Cindy goes to Kansas City with me is to go to Tiki Cat. Last time we went, we sat down and we were like in a little corner over next to the slee stack. And I just sat there, and I'd never found the ducks before. And I sat there, and I looked over and said, there's a duck. There's the other one. There's another one. So really what happened is whoever hid the ducks before me,
Sucks.
they were sucked. They sucked.
Well, let's raise a glass of Tranya to the tiki cat.
I'm really disappointed in this because tiki bars are one of my favorite things.
I mean, the Tiki Cat is also a tiny underground bar where everybody sits really close together. So they probably were going to be struggling right now.
Lots of places will be shutting down in the
Yes.
next month, and
Unfortunately, lots of places will.
The only place I've been served a drink in 5 months is a patio where I held my breath while wearing a mask to get to it. And even then, it seems irresponsible. So I can't imagine going downstairs into a speakeasy, no windows.
no.
I a couple of days ago was Cindy's birthday, and our neighbor, who's also been socially distancing, we didn't have a party, but we went over to their houses, and they had a taco bar and margaritas aplenty, and it was awesome. But other than that, I mean,
Did Cindy enjoy her video?
she did. It was a good video.
Good.
She everybody told her she was an inspiration, which is nice. I hope that people think I am an inspiration.
You inspire me daily.
We haven't been talking much, Dennis. I'm beginning to think you have something against me. Let's air that dirty laundry. What's up?
No, I just don't have child care for my children. So half of the time I am, like literally today I ran 4 miles behind them as they rode their bikes on a 4-mile bike path in the 91-degree heat.
That sounds horrifying.
It was very juicy when I got done. And that's the sort of thing. So I spend a lot of time napping and to entertain my children.
That looks like childcare right there on your television.
Yeah, just put that on. In fact, if you want, Dennis, I'll record some footage for you. Hello, kids.
It's happening right now.
Yeah, that's happening. He's watching it.
What do you guys think about that screen on TV? Does that look like a show you'd like? No, why not? Look at all the action figures in the background. No, don't stare.
Who asked you, kid? Get on. Skip. Go.
Oh, that's Cullen. This is Cullen and that's Cullen. There's also Cullen here. But
You're the only one I like, Cullen.
what do you think? That's Cullen.
All right.
And you're my son, Cullen. I've never bathed him. I've never bathed the other Cullen.
And you never will.
All right, buddy, go back here. Give me 5.
What do you miss the most, Cullen?
About what?
Yes, the most.
Now that the world is kind of locked down on everything,
Mm-hmm.
You miss the most.
I really miss going to a bar and working, like writing.
Hi, Cullen.
Hey, Cullen.
What do you miss the most about coronavirus? Changing things.
School?
You miss school?
Yes.
Really? Really?
Yes.
You guys got to hang out with the dentist all the time.
Oh, yeah. I'm right. That's true. I'd rather learn, too.
What? I
You miss going to a restaurant to work? That's what you just
Yeah,
said?
I
Yeah,
like
you
to
just
go.
gave the same answer as little Cullen.
Yeah,
You miss going to work somewhere.
sure. But that's what I miss. I miss going and sitting down someplace that's not this room and having a beer and working. And I get a lot done when I do that, and I haven't done it in a while. What about you?
I miss going to the movies. I love going to the movies. Haven't been. So I watched Blackbeard's Ghost on Disney Plus instead.
What was the last movie you saw? Mine is so sad.
I was trying to figure that out. And for a while, Evie and I were going to the Terror Tuesday throwback horror movies. And I know we saw My Bloody Valentine. And then I think we went and saw that 80s vampire movie with Vasquez from Aliens and
Do you mean Near Dark?
Near Dark, yeah.
Don't call it that 80s vampire movie.
That was the first time I'd ever seen it. And the whole
awesome.
month, they were like, if you show up this week, we're going to have a crazy surprise for you. And they sold every week. They told us that, and then we got there, and it was a crazy surprise because we didn't know what we were watching, but it was good.
I love that movie. Love it. And it's hard to find. I don't have it on Blu-ray or DVD, and it's
Really?
super hard to find and very expensive.
Well, it has three. It has Bishop and Vasquez and Apone. What's his name?
Not Apone.
Not
Hudson.
Hudson.
Bill Paxton. May he rest in peace.
Yeah. Did you guys see that photo of Arnold Schwarzenegger while they were filming the scene from Terminator 2 where he goes naked into the bar and fights all the bikers?
Yeah.
And
I didn't see a photo.
They posted a series of photos of what it looked like when they shot that. And he's wearing like these brightly colored Hawaiian shorts, like these giant fucking shorts that are like bright orange and yellow and blue. And of course he looks like the terrifying Terminator.
From the waist up.
It's funny.
Yeah.
I dig it.
The last movie that I saw was Sonic the fucking Hedgehog. And it is the only time, because there was no one else in the theater, we went relatively late the week it came out, and I had my kids and we were sitting in the back row and there was nobody else for like 12 rows. So it is the only time I've ever turned a cell phone on during the movies and fucked around on the internet because I couldn't. It's so
You didn't like it?
I couldn't. No, the kids loved it. They enjoyed the hell out of it. But
You didn't like Jim Carrey?
It's not that it was bad. I was just so not the target audience for it. Like, it's just a bunch of really silly jokes. It was a kids movie, and they loved it. But yeah, it was.
I don't know what the last. I think it was Color Out of Space, but that doesn't feel right. It feels like I would have seen something between Color Out of Space and when I stopped going to the movies, but I don't remember anything else.
Yeah, Color Out of Space was good.
Yeah, we saw it as one of those, special screenings, like local film society did a screening of Color Out of Space. But I really liked it. It was a pretty movie.
I miss live music too.
Yeah.
I've seen live music in forever.
I can take it or leave it.
You don't like the nightlife? You don't like the boogie?
I like going to like a bar that people are playing music. I like that, but I don't like concerts.
What's what I'm saying? Like, I like festivals a lot where you walk around with there's multiple stages. And yeah, I like to go to a bar that's playing music.
I don't want to walk. I want to sit and drink.
Yeah.
You just
Do you
need
like
a hover round. If you had a hover round, you could do that and go to a festival.
If you had a what?
A hover round, like a personal, I don't know what they're called, the little devices that.
Those little things?
What is that?
What is that? What kind of device helps me enjoy a concert?
What the fuck don't you know what I'm talking about? It's like a skateboard that you stand on the wrong way, and as you push your weight forward, it rolls.
No, you were talking about, what are those things called?
You know what I'm talking about?
That they do the Nelson Atkins tours on with the two wheels. What are those things called?
A Segway?
Yeah,
Not a Segway. No, not a Segway. It's just like a little skateboard. It doesn't have the Joe Bluth portion on it. It's just a tiny little skateboard.
Oh.
What you guys are talking about is a mobility aid, you jackasses. It's just a thought that popped into my head just then.
No, it's not.
I was talking about a hoverboard thing that the kids have, where you just stand up, like with Mike Tyson fell on his ass. Is that what you mean?
I don't know.
I mean, I don't know that reference.
There were kids at the campground that had them last night, and they have he's right, you just stand on it, and you balance, and then it goes around in circles. And they were in the dark on the road, looking at their cell phones and like crossing past each other and somehow not falling down.
Not getting run over.
Well, I mean,
I thought you were talking about one of those bicycles where like 10 people sit around it and they pedal and they drink at a bar.
yeah, those pedal bar things are some bullshit.
They have one of those that goes around downtown here. I've never ridden one, but I saw one outside a barbecue and beer joint that I like, and I thought that looked cool.
Yep.
There's some dude on the front with a microphone. All right, everyone, start pedaling.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't want my bartender to also be a tour guide who's talking into a microphone at me and making me pedal.
On a pedal.
Like, I like pedaling up a hill, but not while I'm drinking and not while I'm staring at three strangers who are drinking as well. And I pretty much never need a tour guide. But Anton's right. A hover round is a mobility aid. It's just a specific one that had a commercial in the 90s that was played that round, get around. So I remember the name of it.
Like a snake light.
Like a what?
It's a snake light from Black and Decker. You know what I'm talking about?
No, it doesn't.
Are you talking about the deadlights?
No, those are dead. Those will make you catatonic. A snake light from Black and Decker. It was a long flashlight with a coil, and you could wrap it around stuff.
I was bendy.
And if I'd had more Tranya to drink, I'd sing you the whole song.
Whenever I'm looking stuff up on the internet, I'm not looking stuff up on the internet during our recording. I'm actually trapped in the deadlights.
We know you. Oh, okay.
What were we going to talk about? You were talking about your Kickstarter. Come on, as a Kickstarter, everybody. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so I do have a Kickstarter that's launching. It will be live when this airs. Called Democritus Brand and the Endless Machine. It is a steampunk cosmic horror adventure. I said the horror for you. I was going to say terror, but I decided to say horror. Steampunk cosmic horror adventure. I'm co-writing it with Jimmy Z. Johnston. It's being drawn by Federico De Luca. It's going to be a lot of fun. You can see some sample pages. If you go to Kickstarter and search for it, we'll probably put the link below. And
the Jimmy Z.
The Jimmy Z.
As long as you don't have to say his last name, there's only one Jimmy Z.
Jimmy Z.
But tell us more.
So yeah, it's gonna be it's a story. It's set in Victorian era England, but 30 years earlier, these explorers in Egypt uncover a mummy, and the mummy is infused with these cybernetic gearwork parts, and they reverse engineer from that mummy's flesh. They reverse engineer this technology that basically becomes pervasive through their society and creates an entirely new industrial system. But as you can imagine, from taking gearworks from a mummy, there is a price to pay.
Who's the protagonist?
What was that?
Who's the protagonist?
The protagonist is Democritus Brand, Professor Democritus Brand.
Tell us about
He's
that.
charming. He's cunning. He's smart and sarcastic.
He's like the opposite of Dennis's D&D character.
Dennis's D&D character's the worst.
He just likes to stick his hands in things.
But look, we can talk all night about your D&D character if you want. But what I'm saying is Democritus Brand and the Endless Machine is going to be a great Kickstarter. We're kickstarting 2 issues. We already have 2 issues completed. Well, all the art assets are done. They haven't been lettered, or the final design hasn't been done. But we have 2 issues.
They're as good as done.
Yeah, pretty much as good as done. So we'll be delivering, we think, pretty quickly, assuming, it's tough to say what goes on in the world right now, but we think we'll be able to deliver pretty quickly.
Cool.
What happens at the end of Act 2 that makes Democritus feel like he's at his lowest low?
What are you, an editor now? Are you a comic book editor?
No, I just thought it'd be funny to ask you.
Yeah, because you know how I love that question.
No, what's the one you hate? What's the emotional hook?
No, I like emotional hook. I like that.
You like writing them. You don't like being asked that.
Oh, I don't want anybody to ask me what the emotional hook is. What my answer from now on, when someone says, "What's the emotional hook?" I say, "Did you not read it? Then maybe you should try reading it again." No, I hate the note. It's third act. Slow down or something. When editors say, "Oh, you have third act problems," or everybody has third act problems.
Yeah, Danny used to talk about middle issue syndrome.
That's what I was thinking. Middle issue syndrome is the term. Thank you, Daniel, for putting that in my head for the rest of my life.
He would talk about that, and he would ask you if you'd ever seen Grey's Anatomy.
That is true. That is true. It was awesome that he would always ask us about Grey's Anatomy. There was one conversation he brought up Grey's, and I started just talking about an episode that didn't exist. I just started making up things that I thought would happen in Grey's Anatomy, which basically means somebody gets sick and they got a family who's sad, and the worst possible outcome is just this close. And maybe it tips one way, maybe it tips the other.
What Daniel liked about Grey's Anatomy, which is a good editorial point, is that the emotional relationships of the characters always mirrored whatever the weird medical problem they were trying to solve. So like if somebody came in and it was two people have been impaled by the same pole and only one of them could live.
That damn two people impaled by the same pole. I had to hear about that story 1,000 times. There's a stop sign through my chest, and it mirrors the pain of my life.
Here, listen to this, guys. You ready?
Yes.
Can you hear it?
I can see you dancing to it, but I don't know what it is.
All right. Carry on. I'll
Sing
find
it.
a different.
Hum it. Hum it for us.
No.
What is it? Can you play it through your phone into the microphone?
Can you sing it?
I like Dennis's idea, except I don't know where my microphone is, but
Also, if it's copywritten music, we can't play it.
oh, it's not copywritten. Don't worry.
Alamoran, 2, 3, 4.
You continue talking about Grey's Anatomy.
I've said all I want to say about Grey's Anatomy, and that damn stop sign jammed through two people, intertwining their existential crisis with the pain that they're currently being.
Well, not the pain that they are feeling, the pain that the doctors are feeling. The characters that have the medical trouble are almost always side characters that are only there for one episode. Sometimes they're played by John Larroquette or some other.
Oh, well, I'm the kind of life that likes to bend the...
It worked.
What the? We still can't hear it.
Nothing? You didn't hear it?
I
We
heard
heard it
enough to know that you're
loud.
playing Rambling. Are you saying we're rambling?
Playing the Snake Light song for you guys.
No, I didn't hear the Snake Light song. I'm
Have to
sorry.
have
We heard the beginning of it loud and clear.
and I'm sure he'll love to do that. I don't think you would love it. What did you say, Dennis?
I said we heard it loud and clear right at first. When you get that close to the camera, there's a Pokemon called Diglett that comes up out of the ground, and you can only see him from the nose up, and that's what you look like to me when you sound like that.
I like Tonguey Pew or whatever the fuck. Licky Tongue?
Yes,
Sure.
That's my favorite Pokemon. I saw him.
That's him.
I saw him in the Pokemon movie.
Yep.
I got a good swagger story, guys.
Tell it.
I'm not going to tell it yet. We'll wait till the end.
Okay. You have to talk about a book this time. It's your turn to talk about a book.
All right.
Well, that's one of your books.
Brought one of my books. Because if this were a non-pandemic time in America, we would all be at lots of conventions this week
Yes.
and many weeks throughout the summer. And we'd all be trying to sell you our books. What is Cullen saying?
He said never, never again.
Oh, he'll be back.
Well, I don't know. Oh, that's a good one, Kyle.
So here's one of my books. This is Spread Volume 1. Volume 1. And this is a book I drew a few years ago. It's a science fiction horror book, and it's about this ecosystem called the Spread that looks like this. Ooh, it's taken over a large part of the Earth. And before the book starts, some scientists they found a weapon against this stuff that's encoded in this baby's DNA. But before it starts, they all get killed. And this dude finds the baby, and he's got to keep it safe from monsters and cannibals and horrible people. And this is the first 6 issues. It's kind of like Lone Wolf and Cub meets The Thing. And that was my clunky pitch that I haven't said in months.
Well, I'll tell you that I love that book.
Though I've said all of those things 1,000 times, I bet, at conventions.
That's a beautiful book. I love that book. I love the bad guys. Your designs on the bad guys are my favorite. There's a large man that eats things. That's a weird way to put it, but he's my favorite character design in the book.
He is.
The double axes. No has axes, right? Hatchets. Yeah.
He does. There's the guy you like so much.
Yeah, that's it. I like him.
There you go.
Isn't there a guy? There's like a guy. I'm gonna spoil. There's like a guy later that has spread as part of his body, right?
Oh yeah. Let's see if I can find him.
He's cool.
Oh no, he doesn't come around till volume 2.
Okay. So if you like the one, that you should buy it right now. That Kyle's showing.
Here he is, squirting out of some hole.
Gross.
He likes to stick his hands in things too.
Gross.
He likes to stick his hand out of things.
Out of things. Well, the only way out is through, Kyle.
I haven't looked through this in a long time. It's good. You should buy it. You can buy
It's
it
a good book.
at any comic shop. It's from Image. Or you can buy it on Amazon. Or you can buy it digitally from imagecomics.com. Good
Sure.
stuff.
What if people want it signed?
Then in 2021, they can have it signed at a convention.
I think you should set a price point and you should send it to it signed. And
No,
slap it in.
I'll tell you what. I admire your willingness to sign and ship books, but if I had to list the top 3 things that I am bad at in my business, number 1 would be shipping things to people. So
Yeah.
I never agree to do that anymore.
Someone shipped me some books to sign. And I think they even somehow connected it to CGC. So there's some sort of form that I can sign. And they sent me some money to sign them. And it's been a couple of weeks ago, and I still haven't even opened the box. And it's not that I don't want to do it. It's just that right now I am a little distracted with everything else. So
Yeah, and even if I weren't distracted, I wouldn't do it.
yeah, during best of times, I'm kind of crappy about it. So
I'm weirdly good at mailing things. I'm bad at almost anything else that is time sensitive. I won't send emails. I won't respond to texts. You guys have probably learned this.
Yeah, we know that. We're all aware of that.
we got it.
If I have a box that has to be mailed somewhere, the box bothers me, like seeing the box sit here. So if you guys want correspondence, you should just do it in a box. Of course,
I feel like that won't go our way, but we could try.
If I send you something in a box, Dennis, don't open it. That's my one warning.
Okay.
Did I tell you guys the story of my dad and looking for a job,
I don't think so.
trying to get a job that was not too high stress? Well, my dad, when he was younger, had a stroke, and so the things that, like, half of his body has reduced muscle functionality, so it's harder for him to get around than it was. So he's always on the lookout, or he's retired now, but he was always on the lookout for a job that he could do that wouldn't really put too much of a drain on him, which is silly because eventually for several years after that, he did a very labor-intensive job. However, a few years ago, Pokemon Go happened, and everybody was doing Pokemon Go, and everyone was talking about Pokemon Go, and I don't know that my dad ever knew what a Pokemon was at any point before this, but right in the middle of all this stuff, I get a text from my dad that says, "Who hides the Pokemon?" And he was angling to be the person who hides the Pokemon so that people could find them in the Pokemon Go.
That's awesome.
That's
Point of reference, something I just thought of. Apparently, Pokemon Go, it's funny that you bring it up. It launched 4 years ago today, as of this recording.
wow. Oh, wow.
Anton texted you that. I also knew that because my kids make me play it, and it's been telling us that all week.
He texted you that? Oh, you play
Oh,
with
well, Would you please just allow me to know things, Dennis, and not spoil it for everyone
You know
else?
all sorts of shit that nobody else knows. Let's not pretend you know about Pokemon.
Anton doesn't text me.
I do know about Pokemon. Jigglypuff, Licky Face, Team
What does-
Rocket.
What does
I know.
Pokemon stand for?
Oh, I guess he did
Pocket
text me. I just
monsters.
don't text. I just don't check my messages.
Come
Yeah.
on, Pocket Monsters, you jackass.
Do you like the Digimon better, or the Pokemon?
Digimon, the little toys that you could feed.
It's a digital monster.
Why don't you check your messages? I'm sure Anton will tell you.
What are you talking
Yeah.
about? I don't. Is Anton talking to us? Hold on.
Yeah, he's texting.
Oh my
Kyle.
gosh, I'm so sorry, Anton.
Kyle, I never played Pokemon Go when it came out because it was 4 years ago. I had really little kids, but now they're really into it. And to get them to go on walks, to wear them out, or to ride their bikes or whatever, we go to Pokestops. So I went from level 0 or whatever, level 1 in April to level 29 because of how much Pokemon we've been playing.
Is that a lot?
I think so. Based on the
I bet-
fact that everyone I know that's been on it for 4 years is only a couple levels higher than me, I think that we have. I probably have a problem. I'm a degenerate. I'm a Pokemon degenerate. Because when I don't have them, I will go out on bike rides and collect Pokeballs so that they can't possibly run out. And then I've become addicted to going to these Pokestops 3 or 4 times a day.
I also have to make Pokestops 3 or 4 times a day.
That's not a Pokestop. that's a bio break. And by the way, Tamagotchi is what I was thinking of with the little buttons.
Anton just
Oh.
texted us that too.
I do remember when Tamagotchi came out and I had an office job and everybody, all the adults in the office had Tamagotchis.
Yeah.
And we would, if we had a debate on something, we had to settle who would do some menial task. We would battle our Tamagotchis.
Is
I
it
saw a
possible
shirt.
that
What?
Anton has been your Cyrano de Bergerac all these years, and then anytime you said anything, that you were getting like a little earbud telling you what was
That's
happening?
true.
I used to want a shirt that said Tamagotchi Killer. I thought that was a pretty good shirt.
You should get that now. I like it.
I should get it tattooed on my back.
No.
There was a Nintendo game called Nintendogs that was a similar concept, but they were puppies. You had to wash them, deflea them.
Sounds less exciting than
Nintendo
training
or
a
like
monster
Wii?
to kill other
DS.
monsters.
When the DS first came out, Nintendogs was one of the games that was big. I remember having to watch my ex-wife's Nintendogs because she had to go out of town, and I remember thinking that was not a reasonable thing.
But you did it, and you took care of her Smurfs too.
I did. Took care of my mom's Smurfs once as well. My mom continued to play that fucking Smurfs farming game.
There's a Smurfs game. I just remember Smurfs being the little figures that the toy store always had in these cool setups in the
I
window.
think you remember Smurfs as a thing. Happened once many years ago and then ceased. The 3 apples high.
I bet Cindy would like the Smurfs game because I know that she likes the Dragon combination game. So I think she would like the Smurfs game.
She does like that dragon combination game.
What's that?
I think we summed it up. It's dragons combinations.
What's combination?
Things. I don't know. You combined them.
You have to combine, like you hatch 3 red dragons that are babies, and then you drag them together, and they turn into a bigger dragon. And that theme, multiply that theme by 2,000, and that's the game.
It's a little bit like Pokemon Go. You have to evolve dragon things that look nothing like dragons into dragons. Which we just got a Charizard for the first time. I'm really excited about that.
Do you have a licky tongue?
Yes, I do.
Oh, Charizard. That evolves from Charmander, I believe. And I did not use my Anton connection.
Actually, it evolves from Charmeleon, which evolves from Charmander.
So, in the grand scheme of things, what you're saying is I was right. Thank you, Dennis, for saying I was right.
You're right enough.
Man, I know a lot of people that would hate.
I know that the one Pokemon, the famous one, Pikachu,
Pikachu.
almost evolved and then decided it didn't want to. It wanted to stay Pikachu.
Was
Yeah,
that a
it'd be riot,
season
too.
finale?
I don't know, but I think it happened in an episode one time, and I saw it.
I saw one episode of Pikachu or of Pokemon, and it was about this ghost. They went onto a ship, maybe, and there was a ghost Pokemon.
That's Blackbeard's ghost, dude. Catch up.
No, it wasn't Black Dude's ghost. It was it had terrible powers, and it demonstrated how terrifying it was. And then the owner of Pikachu was like, "Oh no, we have to stop this thing. Get it, Pikachu!" And then it showed Pikachu, and he was like, "What?" And I felt bad for the guy, the little guy, because he was
Afraid.
he was enslaved.
I'm so happy for you that you've seen so little Pokemon that you just called him the owner of Pikachu, who is the protagonist. Ash is the protagonist of the show.
Pikachu's
Ash
the
Ketchum.
protagonist, right?
Which is funny because that brings it around to Daniel Kitchen, which we were speaking about earlier. It's all time is a flat circle.
Do you think Daniel likes the idea that we talk about him on an episode? I feel like Daniel has no time for our
I
nonsense.
think he would love to know that you remember his Grey's Anatomy story.
I'm pretty sure he's glad to be done with my nonsense.
Daniel's like the creative director of Wizard of the Coast now or something.
Yeah, no, like I said, he's glad to be done with me.
I'm Pikachu. You just asked me to fight a ghost.
My Dodge, my other son, the one that I held up earlier, loves Pikachu. Everything in his life is yellow because of Peach. So.
You should have him checked out. Owen's making a note that
I was just thinking, Kyle, that the Ghosts of Maiden's Peak is the name of the episode that had the ghost Pikachu or the ghost Pokemon in it.
I was just thinking that too when I looked down here at my text messages.
All right, now when Dennis comes back, we're going to be quiet. We're going to talk, but he can't hear us. It'll be awesome. This is good comedy. Comedy gold. Of course, he's not going to come back.
I'm coming back.
Oh.
What? I had to parent. I didn't go away. This is the worst thing you guys have ever tried to do. So transparent. First of all,
I guarantee we have done worse. We've tried worse thing
Yeah, we've tried to do much worse things.
to punk you, and it didn't work. This once, it didn't work.
well, you would have had to be more quiet. I could hear your chair making noise.
He's got a point.
This is a new chair. It does not creak.
There's a room noise. You have to record that if you're making sound for a movie so that you can put it back in overdubs. Record the room noise.
It's called Foley, Cullen.
Are you suggesting that my room is making noise?
Every room is making noise. You got air conditioning, you got the buzz of the lights, you just have the general air movement echo.
I have no air conditioning. I suffer for my work.
That's not true. I've been in your home.
What are you working on this week, Cullen?
I am working on a middle reader graphic novel.
Can you talk anything about it? Can you tell us
No,
about it?
but this is how many pages I have to write.
Wow, you've done a lot though.
I like to keep a little comic book board that I write the pages and I scratch them off as I go along. It makes me feel like I'm accomplishing something.
What are you working on, Dennis?
I just finished the dialogue for an issue of Sea of Stars that Steven's been drawing.
Which
And
issue?
then 8, I think 7. I don't know. I'm behind. I need to write my half of this. The following issue, because Steven's about to catch up, and then I am doing 2 pitches. One is an old thing that has found new life, so I need to go through and revamp the pitch. And then
Does it have anything to do with a lake?
no, not that one. That was actually pretty much ready to go. I just don't have a home for it. And I'm an artist, so there's not really anything to do. And then this is the one I was doing with Ty Walker years ago.
Oh yeah.
The editor we developed it with is now at a company, and I talked to him and that company about pitching it at the end of the summer. So I'm getting that going.
Cool.
And then another former collaborator and I just tossed some ideas around based on a sketch that he had done, and I'm working on that. And then EXO was about to get going again. I was pretty far ahead at the beginning of the pandemic, and the book won't ship for a few more months. So I'm still waiting for that, but it's ready to go.
Exo Man of War.
EXO Manowar at Valiant. Valiant's premier character, much better than Shadow Man.
I'll take the Pepsi challenge between Exo Manowar and Shadow Man any day of the week.
Well, yeah, because then you won't have to. He's going to destroy you so quickly that you wouldn't have to do anything.
Did you get a Tony Moore cover for Exo Man of War?
Not yet.
Huh. That's odd. What did? Hold on. Shadow Man. Don't worry. You'll catch up one day.
Yeah, I got 10 years.
That's right. You got 10 years.
I'm working on. We just turned in issue 8, the script for Unearthed number 8, and Baldemar is now drawing that, and it's back. Our book is back. We weren't sure if it was going to be, but it is going to be. So we're very happy about that. Oh yeah, Cullen did that with me. This guy. And our heavy metal story just came out. Matt Mitchell and I wrote a story for heavy metal that Jake Smith drew, and that's out.
What issue is that in, Kyle? Do you know?
99.
99.
299. And I'm drawing a book with Scotty Young that we will be working on for a long time.
It looks great. You keep posting
Thank
stuff.
you. But yeah, it's coming along well. That's what I'm working on.
Awesome. Oh, I just found out, which will be announced by the time this is done. I just found out that the 2 issues, Marvel issues of mine that came out digital only because of COVID, are in fact going to be printed. So Marvel, they will have announced that by the time this is out, but all of those books people are mad about being digital only are going to get print release dates.
It's awesome.
So my Cosmic Ghost Rider run and Black Cat Strikes will come out in print in single issue form before the trip.
That's great.
Yeah, people were mad about that. People were burning books and bras and flags.
Were they?
No, they were mad on Twitter.
Well,
Burning books. I'm all out of Tranya.
all right, Kyle, you said you had a swagger story.
I already told it. It was the.
Oh, is that
Pokemon
your swagger story about your
I'm
dad?
sorry to disappoint you.
No, I thought that was a good story. I thought that you thought of that story about your dad out of nowhere.
I did. And it was my swagger story. I wonder if I have any more. Go ahead, Dennis. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Oh, I thought of a good swagger story the other day, and I told it in mixed company, and I feel like they judged me harshly. So I decided maybe it wasn't a good swagger story.
Have I heard this story?
Probably. I don't know that I have many that you haven't. I didn't realize how many of my stories were about how I was a juvenile delinquent. Like, I know I have a lot about my dad being a piece of shit, but yeah, I have a lot of stories about me being trash as a kid.
Wow.
I have a buddy who's quite a bit older than me, and he has a lot of stories about when he was overseas with the military in like the 70s, and all the stories he tells when they're not delinquents, he's the leader of the group. But then all the stories where they do terrible things, he's like, I was just standing back watching these guys as they did all this stuff. It doesn't add up.
Well, that's perspective for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, that's how people work. We give ourselves a big pass for all of our shitty behavior, but then other people we can judge harshly.
It catches up with you sometimes. Don't worry.
What? I think the way to live a happy life is to own your past behavior and understand that life is a learning experience. And if you can accept that you were shittier in the past and try not to behave like that in the future and like own and make amends, you will have a lot more like inner peace than if you try to justify everything and think, look, I was always great. I never did anything wrong. I wasn't a shitty 15-year-old like every other shitty 15-year-old. So that's how I try to live my life. these
Good.
days.
Good for you. Good for you,
It's a
enlightened.
good way to live your life.
Not me. I like to suffer through my misery and guilt and realize that I'm awful, and I probably always will be awful.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. You just said it in a way that is sadder. It's the same idea. Like, I'm a trash human, but I'm going to try to be better. Not like, I'm great. I've always been great. And if you think I'm not great, it's because you're not seeing it right. That's a bad way to go.
What about you, Kyle? Are you great or are you a trash human?
I'm a little bit of both.
Nice.
That's the truth of the matter. About not just about you, about everybody. Sorry. Came out.
Jeez. Look, it's like a little malbolgia sitting on my shoulder. Check it out.
I see it. But now you need like an angelic figure on your other shoulder.
Angela.
Put that little Yoda. Put that mini Yoda on your shoulder.
Angela's at my studio. What do I have here? Do I have something? Yeah.
What the hell is that?
That looks like Diglett too.
It's Max Rebo,
Oh.
but he's part of a Russian doll.
Max Rebo was supposed to play the piano with his feet, right?
Yes, Dennis. Old news.
I don't think you've ever told it on the show.
Yeah, Max Rebo was supposed to. In all the drawings, Max Rebo is playing his piano with his feet. And he's sitting on a pillow. And if you go back, if you see the drawings, then go back and look at the real Max Rebo from Return of the Jedi, he looks like he's supposed to be sitting on a pillow, and they just have a dude doing it. But then the toy makers didn't know that. So they made him a little man. Dennis is very happy he got me to talk about this.
Why? You're the reason I know that. You know all of the trivia.
I like Max Rebo.
We all
I
do.
like all those creatures from the sand barge. I like the whole sand barge thing. Everything's
too.
sand barge.
It's my favorite. There are a lot of good photos. So I have a collection of photos on my phone of different people smiling and laughing that I can use as reactions when somebody says something funny. And one of my favorites is one of the guys inside Jabba the Hutt, completely drenched. He looks like Daniel Warren Johnson if Dan were really sweaty all the time. And he's got this big old grin on his face because he's inside Jabba the Hutt.
Should be a fun place to be.
I saw Jabba the Hutt's tail at a house party that an Amazon executive owns. He owns these two houses, and he has it filled up with Star Wars props, and Jabba the Hutt's tail was there.
He just has Jabba the Hutt's tail?
Well, he has a lot of things. He has the coolest thing for me that he had is not by any means the biggest thing or the most iconic thing that he had, because he had a ton of stuff. But the coolest thing was a yellow piece of notebook paper, and somebody had drawn on it the walk cycle for the AT-AT and how to animate it. It was like just with a ballpoint pen. They'd just done a really quick series of drawings to show how to animate the AT-AT walkie. But he had very cool stuff. He had a lot of matte paintings. Like he had the Hoth matte painting, and he had, right when you walk in, is the Death Star, the giant. It was cool. Cool stuff.
You think he ever dresses up like Han Solo and steps on Jabba's tail?
He doesn't have the top part of Jabba that goes, "Roar!"
No, but he could step on it and imagine it.
No, that
That doesn't sound fun.
I don't know. I don't know if this guy likes the prequels. Maybe he does. He
Maybe he likes Jabba. Maybe he likes to think that Jabba was that dude in the furry coat, and he mutated into worm.
This guy did have the Boba Fett that fired the missile that my friend in grade school always claimed that he had. He didn't.
The prototype one or whatever?
Yeah, the prototype.
People in grade school would pretend a lot of bullshit that is not.
Yeah.
I had a friend in grade school that had that Boba Fett because he showed me and he shot the missile off a
No, he did. Yeah, that's a lie. That's a
I'm
fictional
telling you,
memory.
if
It
it is
never
a,
existed, Cullen.
if it is a lie,
It didn't exist.
I am
There
telling
were
you,
3
it's
of
such
them.
a vivid memory in my head. And I understand now that people say there's only 3, but I'm telling you that Michael Reeves, and I'm going to look him up, see if I can find that guy. Michael Reeves had that Boba Fett and shot that missile out.
There's no way. Michael Reeves pulled some wool over your eyes.
I understand that it's not supposed to be fact, but if it's not, then my mind completely constructed it Matrix style.
Yeah, it did.
It is possible to take the figure that doesn't shoot the missile and take a ballpoint pen and take them apart with a Dremel tool.
That's
And then you can fool a rube. You can just flick it with your thumb.
I'm just telling you that I vividly.
Asshole you do that to will think until they're 50 that they saw it.
I'm going to find Michael Reeves on Facebook, and I'm going to ask him if he had it.
All right. If
My
he
mother-
says yes, then he's a fucking liar.
I just thought of a swagger story that this reminds me of.
All right.
And it's about my mom.
Before you get to it,
Sure.
the last thing I'll mention. Oh man, I could just talk forever. I'll mention 2 things. One thing, he had the action figures that Rick Moranis plays with in Spaceballs,
Oh, that's amazing.
like the John Candy.
Like that used props of those action figures?
Yeah, he had the actual props because she walks in and he's going, no. So he had those. And this is the last thing I'll mention. There was a glass case with lots of props in it, and shoved off in the corner was a small cardboard box and with no top. And it was full of these like rubber bulbs like you would squeeze. And you could tell they'd been made in just a shop or whatever because they still had the seams, like they hadn't been neatly trimmed or anything. You could see the bleed out of the plastic. And written on the box, it said Jabba bladders. And those were the bladders they used to puppeteer Jabba the Hutt's eyes.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So I just looked up Michael Reeves. Apparently he is some sort of Amazon executive who collects Star Wars shit.
That was a good way to pull it together.
Mystery solved.
What's your
All
story?
right, let's hear your story, Dennis.
I changed my mind.
What a disappointment.
I'm sorry. It's about my mom, and she might not like it, and she actually listens to us. So I've decided to not tell that story.
You should run it by her.
What?
Yeah, let's have her on as a guest.
She would absolutely hate that. My mother does not like being on camera. I don't know where I got it.
You should tell the Batman story
What Batman story?
about getting hit in the face. No, that's not a fun story. Never mind.
One time when I was a kid, I'll tell fuck it. When I was a kid, I was playing with the 1989 Batman action figure. So I was probably, what?
The zip line that comes out of his
No,
belt?
it was the Bruce Wayne one that you pulled the mask off.
I just saw that action figure this week.
I was throwing him through the air to make him glide. And we had a tight hallway. So like the living room was here and you walk through a door. My bedroom was there. And then my parents' bedroom was around the corner. It was a really tight hallway. And I was throwing him through the living room. And I happened to throw him through the hallway as my dad stepped out. And he got hit in the face with Batman. And he walked over and slapped me across the face. My dad didn't hit me often. I got spanked from time to time. But his justification afterward, when I freaked out and hit in the face for throwing a toy and accidentally hitting him, is that if you hit a man in the face, you should expect to get hit back. So that's how I learned that fucking lesson.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, that's not a very happy story.
No, it's all right. He's dead.
Oh my god.
It gets happier.
So, where can everybody find you guys? Dennis, where can people find you online? This seems like a good segue out of that misery into this misery.
You can go to our TikTok, which is Missouri Swagger, and mock clips of the show that you're watching right now. And then I usually am on Twitter, Hopeless Stint on Twitter. My social media has been really light as of late because of my children and everything that's going on. Also, comics Twitter has been really depressing the last few weeks. So
All of Twitter has been depressing.
But, yep, that's where you can get hold of me.
You can get a hold of me if you email me. But you can find me on my Instagram, which is Kyle Strahm _, or you can befriend me on Facebook. But I don't make any promises. I've got a long queue that I am very bad at updating. Or you could find me on Twitter at kstrahm. But if you're very interested in what I do, or just a little interested, you can go check out my Patreon, which is patreon.com/Kyle Strahm, where I update 5 days a week with new content that mostly hasn't been published before. For a sweet, cheap $5 bill, you can get access to everything.
Sweet Cheap is a great name.
You can find me at Cullen Bunn on Twitter. My website's cullenbunn.com. Cullen Bunn on Patreon, and Cullen Bunn everywhere else. And we would be remiss if we did not point people to AntonKromoff.com for his for Anton, who produces the show, but he also does tons of work on social media. He designs websites, he designs logos, he can letter comics, he does all sorts of stuff, and you should check him out because and there he is.
He
Look
will
at that.
message you the answers to all the things you don't know.
You have questions about life or Pokemon, he will answer those questions.
He's like our Oracle.
He
Or
is.
like Old Man Batman from Batman Beyond. Old Man Bruce
Hey,
Wayne.
we haven't talked about that. Can you believe we haven't talked about Michael Keaton coming back as Batman?
Oh man, I just wish it weren't in the Flash movie.
Yeah, but I think it's going to be kind of cool. I've kind of heard some stuff that they're doing with it, and it sounds like it might actually be kind of great. I'm not going to say it here on Missouri Swagger.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't.
I'm saving it. I'm saving it for our Batcast or something. I don't know what it is.
The bungalow. You should say that for the bungalow. Just in the middle. Stop. Cindy, hold on just a second. I've got some breaking news.
Well,
and then
Cindy
talk
would
about
love
that.
to talk about Michael Keaton Batman.
She would?
See, I just want Michael Keaton Batman movie. That's what I mean. Like, I wish it were just him.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. I did see today they announced Tron 3.
I saw that.
It was Jared Leto in it, and my favorite tweet about it was, it was as if somebody wished on a monkey's paw for another Tron sequel.
There is a photo of Jared Leto reading my Legion of Monsters run for,
For Morbius.
for his Morbius movie. So I assume that Morbius movie would be delightful.
There's a character based on me in that Legion of the Monster comic. He eats cereal in his
Oh, yeah.
underwear.
It's
He
it's like
watches the
Aquaman
Golden
or
Girls.
something. What's his name? Colin, what's his name? He's like a giant amoeba guy.
Amoeba guy.
Yeah, he wears a fedora, but he's like white and black
He's a
blob.
Scot, right?
Is it Spot?
No, he's in Legion of the Monsters. He's an old Marvel Monsters character, and he wears a fedora, and they suck him into like a vacuum.
I know, but I thought it was the Spot for some reason.
Oh.
I just.
He's
Well, he's
been
based on
in
me.
the background and stuff since like the 70s.
Well,
Hopefully he'll be in the movie. And
He
he'll
did
be
have your voice though. When I wrote him with your voice.
Thank you. He sounds like he's got a pretty cool attitude.
He has a cool attitude. In fact, I think he says the words, "Someone else has a cool attitude."
by the way, my phone accidentally picked up everything that I've said in the last 5 minutes or so.
Yeah?
And this is what I said. Hey, we haven't talked about that. Can you believe we haven't talked about Michael Keaton coming back as Batman? And yeah, but I think it's going to be kind of cool, the kind of hurts and stuff that they're doing with it. And it sounds like it might actually be kind of great. I'm not going to say it here on a whole Missouri Swagger. I'm saying I'm saving it and saving it for our back cast or something. It will. Cindy would love to talk about Michael Keaton Batman.
You should copy that and email it to Bleeding Cool.
I'm just assuming Bleeding Cool has hacked my phone and picks all that shit up.
Thanks for recording Missouri Swagger, guys.
Yeah, thank you. And
Good
thanks
talking
for
to you guys
listening,
again.
watching,
It's been too long.
seeing.
Tell us, if you've listened this long, Tell us what you think about Michael Keaton as Batman.
Also, if there's
In the
anything you'd
comments.
like to hear us talk about or you want us to do in the show, like we obviously, very obviously, are just shooting from the hip here with what to do, what you want to hear. So if you're a long-time listener and you sit through this every week or so, tell us what you want, and we'll do more of that.
That's right. And what
Cullen-
will we do for next time, Dennis?
Promise it'll be better next time.
Cullen, will you tell everybody to smash the subscribe button?
Smash that subscribe button, punks.
Toodles noodles.
We have something that gets added somewhere. I don't know.
Tranya! Have some Tranya!